So what are some tips for organizing your yarn? Let's not be so formal. I don't even know why I am. And I'll tell you how I organize it. And if your OCD is going off, that's fine. That's included in today's video. But I'll tell you what my strategy is and what's important for me. Okay, so it looks like a mess. I'm okay with it. I live here. It's my mess to play with. I keep my yarn organized by the brand itself. I don't worry about the colors because you know what happens is that you start doing a color coding and then you find another damn ball that you've already got everything all nice and lined up, and then you find another ball and then another ball and you keep shifting. So what I just do is I just throw it onto the shelf. So I lack color coordination. Daniel says that my crochet looks like Walt Disney throw up, you know, lots of colors. And anyway, so what I do for myself is like, oh, I like these two colors together. And by being random on the shelf is that it actually allows me to pick my colors better in my own brain. So until I crochet the damn thing, and then Dan just says, oh, it was screwed up. And I said, well, it was nice on the shelf. So anyway, I just keep it that way. You'll notice that there's really no yarn inside bags or totes within my space. There's a reason for that. So one of the things that I do is that I take it out of the retail pack bag. So when I order online, it usually comes in sets of 3, 5, 6. It could be 1 or 2. Pick a number. I take it out of those bags, and I know what you're thinking. Well, isn't the dust going to hit your balls? Sweetie, I have balls. They are dusty. These balls. And I don't mind that because if you're a crocheter, you have the use of arms, and all you just need to do is just pick up a ball and bang it. Bang, 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 and get the dust out of the damn thing. It's going to naturally happen. The reason for it is that acrylic yarn is a petrochemical-based product. So listen, we know that acrylic is a petroleum-based product. If this is new for you, you are welcome so much for the information, but it is a chemical-based product. Your clothing, if it's polyester, poly this, it's a plastic-based item made from petrochemicals. So when you seal something like that in a bag or in a tote, you're not giving the product a room to breathe, to let off the microscopic gases that come off as a result of petrochemicals. So when you seal it inside that, you need to have the product breathe. If you were going to use totes, and why am I using my hands so much? If you're going to use totes, I recommend that you bang a few holes in your totes. And I know what you're thinking, why would you want to damage that? Because you need to let your yarn breathe. Also, if you have a space where you're storing your item and there is condensation or a change of temperature, you can get like microscopic or probably real wet mildew that's happening inside your tote, because I have found that in one house I had. Oh my God, it was disgusting. I had to throw out my yarn because I had it in a sealed thing, and the ground was so cold that it condensated inside the bucket, and it just turned my yarn into like a sewer pile. So you want to make sure that your yarn is breathing. I always make sure too that my yarn is off the floor. So none of the yarn is on the floor of this house. Now, it was in boxes just a few days ago because it was sitting down in here, but my floor is carpeted, but I do have in-floor heating, so that also makes a difference so that the floor is really not that cold. I also, in this house, we have an air oxygen exchanger, so there's constantly new air coming into the house in every room in this house. So my basement here of the working level does not smell like a traditional basement of some of the houses that I've had before. So you really want your yarn to be your investment. So if you're going to spend all that money on yarn, you don't want to ruin the yarn by the way that you're storing it. If you're going to put it into a vacuum sealed bag, you are on your own. Some people swear by it, and some people are going to comment, I do it all the time and it doesn't make a difference. I'm telling you, if you have a choice, do not do that. So in order to get the yarn nice and fluffy, they have to really high pressure steam the thread before it goes into balling. And that's what makes it blow up like a cake. And so if you vacuum seal your yarn, what you're doing is you're causing the yarn to contract back to the way it was before it went through the high pressure. And some people email me and say, well, what am I going to do to get my yarn back? Good luck on that. You know, you can't blow hard enough on this thing. Okay, that doesn't sound right. You can't steam your yarn back to the way that it did. If you did it, that's great. You should open a side business to reinflate our yarn balls. And why is this going in a level that I don't understand? So the way that I do it here is that I just keep it by the brand. If I need to surf through and do that, I don't mind touching a lot of balls, okay? So if I have to move my balls around, the more power to me. It gives me more joy. It's a dopamine hit. Let me move something, you know? And also, I do recommend that you come into your room once in a while and give the balls a good sniff. Just remind them that you're here. I'm here for you, baby. Okay, you've only been there for 10 years. I'm still here for you. You have to acknowledge your balls, and if you're talking to them and they're talking back, you might want to see psychiatric counseling for that. But overall, I keep my yarn room the way that I want it for myself. It's not picture perfect, but I have come to realize that I'm 52 years old and life is overrated to be perfect, and it's our differences that make us special. I am sticking with that mantra, but overall, I keep everything, I try to keep it nice and organized, generally speaking, but I'm like everybody else. I just throw shit in this room, and hopefully that it puts itself away, and it never does. So the other thing too is that I have no issues with going through this room and say, you know what, I loved it at the time, I'm going to give it away. And I know what you're thinking, why would you give it away when you can sell it? Because that might be your thinking. But the way that I see it, that if I bought this yarn, and I'm not going to do anything with it, it's worthless to me. So instead of just charging somebody else to take it off my hands, I just give it to somebody else, because I find that gives me a better rush of a dopamine hit to inflate somebody else's yarn pile or give them a sense of creativity. So I find yarn is very giftable. That does not mean you were going to leave a comment down here say, I will take this, because people do that. They will say, Michael, third shelf over, third shelf down. And they said, I want the orange ball. It ain't gonna happen. Okay, that's not how it works around here. But overall, I enjoy my yarn room. Is it a lot of yarn? Yes. Could it be considered yarn hoarding? Yeah, but I'm a winner. Okay, they who die with the most yarn wins. But that's, and somebody said, well, what are you gonna win? And I said, well, you're really gonna just win the opportunity for whoever has to clean this shit up when you're gone and dead. You've made their life hell, just at least for a few days after they get it off, after they get it out of your house. So overall, this is my creative space. I can never find the color that I really want. So anyway, I'll just grab a couple balls at Michael's today, and then a couple more in a few days for now, and then whatever, and then it turns into this. So I do look for clearance sales. Yarn Inspirations clearance sales are really quite dangerous for me. I unloaded a lot of boxes. I know, what am I thinking? But truth be told, I would not have this much yarn if I didn't own the Crochet Crowd. So a lot of this is write-offable for me as a business expense for me. And all of the tutorial samples pretty much go to charity after I'm done with it as well. So I do have purpose, and that's just the way it is. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's tutorial. You can let me know how you're feeling. If you're not feeling great, then there's probably another channel for that. But if you just want to give I don't even know what I'm talking about at this time. This is when I need to end the video and shut up and go grab a cup of tea, which I'm going to do. See ya. Oh my God, just shut up and get off the camera already. I don't know why I was doing that. Why am I still on the camera?